Hello, everybody. This is Mario Kaba here to screw the rules. 'Cause I have green hair. Well, not really screwing the rules. Today's video is going to be something different. It's going to be about an upcoming vlog post I'm going to post right after this video because, well, I've needed to do it for a while. Something I've been saving for a rainy day, and I really wish I would have got out sooner. But since people keep asking for audio versions of my novels, I just give them an audio version of a Rant instead. Desktop. Rant. Issues with GTA Online's vehicular warfare. That's right, it's basically frickin' GTA vid. Wow. And I just realized how much that this does cut off a little bit of my screen. Oh well. I was a day one player back on the 360. Back when buzzards ruled the sky and rhino tanks ruled the ground. Well, I will admit, I need to amend it because people would break into Fort Zancudo to steal a jet back in the day. Why? Because the Hydra jet was pretty much OP if you can get out of there in one piece with it. And then they finally nerfed the Rhino so it could be killed easier. A lot of us were happy. And then the Zentorno came out and ruined everything. After we were finally safe from the terror of the Rhino. I remember people backing up and shooting you more than using sticky bombs. Because the Zentorno, you couldn't get shot out of the back of the damn thing. Okay? I hated that supercar. Not only did it replace my favorite, which was the, Elegy, I think, no, Entity. Yeah, it's the Entity, as the competitor for the Adder, which was the most expensive supercar back on last gen. Well, when the game came out, anyway. But you couldn't shoot anyone on the back of it. And I'm going to get to one of the reasons why people hated other people with it. I remember. Okay, I read that part. And we thought the skies were bad before, and then the original heists came out. The Hydra ruled the sky with its explosive machine guns, still basic homing missiles, and its ability to switch from jet to hover mode. And don't get me started on ground warfare. Armored Kurumas replaced the Zentorno as it was bulletproof and you couldn't make money like you can today to keep paying for insurance. Which, yes, the reason why people hated the Zentorno is because in order to kill somebody easy, you had to blow the damn thing up and you couldn't make money like you could today. Or heck, even heists weren't even out when that thing was top in ground warfare vehicles. You always had to worry about driving around, trying to enjoy the game, and some asshole in Zentorno drives up next to you, shoots you out of your car, and then frickin' when you're on the ground, they keep backing towards you, shooting. And you didn't want to blow it up because you didn't want to pay for insurance. There was no heists, no free roam businesses, nothing back then to easily make that money. Unless you're buying shark cards. And not to mention, the Rhino was replaced by the Insurgent pickup for most useful Pegasus ground vehicle. Which it was. There was the standard version of the Insurgent, which everybody had to have, including me. And I love that thing. However, and oh boy, The pickup, everybody wanted that thing mainly due to the fact it had the heavy armor of the regular insurgent and a machine gun on the back, so he had a buddy on the back shooting up people. It wasn't until executives and other criminals update after Next Gen came out that things changed, as in changed for the worse. VIPs could call in a buzzard whenever they needed one or turned a limo from their action menus and they'd spawn right next to them. At least back then you had to have $1 million in your bank to be a VIP, which a lot of people these days don't know about because I'm going to get to what happened in 2017 later, but back then you had to have $1 million in your bank account to be a VIP. And then the CEO came out with further adventures in finance and felony where you only needed the cheapest office, spend $1 million one time to basically be an upgraded VIP with less cooldowns and no time limit to keep the part. Not to mention you could do warehouse missions to earn extra money, which yeah. CEOs were basically an upgrade to the VIP. And no, this was still back when you needed $1 million in your bank account to be a VIP. The cheapest office for CEO to this day is still $1 million in GTA currency. You just need to buy that, and goodbye being a VIP. Doesn't matter how much you have in your bank account anymore. You can start up the sessions, do VIP missions like you could as a VIP for extra money, and then you could buy warehouses to do free roam missions that steal cargo and sell it later on. I never did those because I really hated CEOs. I was happy when bikers came out because it gave us a cheaper alternative to being a VIP and a CEO. Again, because back then you still needed $1 million in your bank to be a VIP. Yeah, you couldn't call in a weaponized vehicle, but at least you could call in a bike whenever you needed one to get away. Not to mention, like the business is a little better, you only had to restock and then you could go enjoy the game waiting on supplies to become product. Which a lot of people hate biker businesses, but me, I actually like them better. Though I hated that if you had too much product in your businesses, you needed multiple vehicles, which means you actually needed people to play with. Because they destroy that like they do with CEO missions, you're out of money. And yeah, man. CEOs, which I got kind of mixed up because when Import Export came out for CEO, which was after Bikers, they added weaponized vehicles. They're considered special vehicles, which you had to do freaking car theft missions to get. And then you could use them for free roam, but they didn't have any armor. But you could exploit being a CEO by doing the mission with a runner to get a tougher runner to do the mission with. Because you could use that for vehicle combat. But man, it all got ruined when the gun running update came out. MC presidents, which were the weakest of the three, became more empowered because they could now call in oppressors whenever we'd wanted. Yeah, because I always did MC president. It was years later that I finally got the oppressor, but yeah. Like after Doomsday Heist. And when we ran out of missiles, you could put the bike back in storage through the interaction menu and resummon it fully repaired and reloaded. The amount in your bank to become a VIP went from $1 million to $50K. Not to mention, as well as new armored and OP vehicles. Now you could store an insurgent pickup or a technical. Yeah, the stuff from Import Export wasn't too bad compared to gun running with special vehicles, but gun running was worse as weaponized vehicles actually had armor. Which you seen people with the freaking APC, which was amphibious as it floated on water, could still be driven across water, but you had to have a pilot to use a frickin' grenade launcher. If you had the missile silo, use it. Though the weaponized Tampa wasn't too bad, I still hated that thing. But the oppressors, man, those really, really made people angry. Because now you had a bike that could basically glide in the air. And if you're smart about it, you did your rocket boost, and right as it ended, you started to hover, so you start get some back and freaking boost it even further. And as an MC president, put it back in storage when you didn't need it. But yeah, they made it so you could now have your own personal insurgent pickup or technical. Which people who loved the insurgent pickup before really loved it now. I can't say too much for Smuggler's Run, as aerial superiority finally changed due to having personal aircraft. Even though you could store a Hydra, is no longer king and is just useful for doing hangar resupplies, which, yeah. I found it easier to do a lot of the hangar resupply missions using my Hydra than with the vehicles that, like the aircraft that comes with it. Though you still have to use whatever they give you for frickin' deliveries. Which, like, with bikers and bunkers, sometimes you end up with multiple vehicles you have to use. Better aircraft customization options finally killed it, which everybody was happy that the Hydra was dead. Some people still use it, but now that you could have a frickin' hangar in Fort Zancudo, you could just steal one from there and you didn't have as high of a wanted level. And with Doomsday Heist, which I should put in a separate paragraph, came out, we thought the game wasn't broken enough with Rockstar's help. Now we had the Deluxo, which was based on the DeLorean from Back to the Future, a car that could actually fly. People no longer cared about having a buzzard, as now they had a new toy that could be called in by the mechanic that could enter any garage or LS Customs if it needed repaired. Or reloaded. But, yeah. Not to mention, it had the most accurate missiles in the game, which actually was the second vehicle to do that because the Runner 2000 from Import-Export, even though it had no armor, it had the most accurate missiles. And they decided, hey, let's add them to a flying car. There was almost no escaping. Though we did have the tougher Stromberg, no one wanted a submarine car, which Stromberg had the same missiles as the Deluxo. Fully armored, it could take 4 rockets, missiles, whatever, before exploding. Guess, come on, submarine car, you're going to be clashing into things underwater all the time, so you need the extra armor. But everyone wanted one that flies. Me, I personally picked Stromberg, which was based after the James Bond car that could turn into a submarine. And jetpacks. Those could outrun missiles if not using countermeasures, which they can. Heck, smart player, if they're facing an Oppressor Mark II or wanting to get away from one, uses a jetpack because those things can outrun the missiles. You actually need aircraft to kill, or an explosive sniper rifle to kill a jetpack user. But some idiot had to ask, how could this get any worse? Then with nightclubs came the Oppressor Mark II of all things. A futuristic motorcycle that flies and can have countermeasures added. At least with the original Oppressor, you had to have skill to use it and you couldn't have missiles until you unlocked them via research. Not to mention you could abuse the Mark II like you could the original if you were an MC president, which a lot of people do. We all thought the game was run before. The Mark II proved us wrong, which, yeah. The Mark II Oppressor proved everyone wrong. Okay. I'm going to go face cam so I can see the expressions of my face. The Mark II Oppressor was way overpowered. Unlike the original, you had to unlock where you had to unlock your missiles through research. This thing, you could just put them on. Not to mention, you could add countermeasures for so trying to missile that thing, useless. And yeah, people could save the rocket boost to try to avoid a freaking explosive sniper rifle. Which is fine, but they can just call it through their freaking interaction menu to summon it again or put in storage and reload it. Sadly, nothing can be said about Arena War when it comes to the game being ruined. People hated that update for other reasons. Everything was too expensive, and the vehicles are crappy for free roam fights, which they are. I can't defend the pricing or the randomized way of unlocking the discounts, because there's no defending it. But I can defend the vehicles as those were not meant for free roam fighting. They were meant only to be used in the arena. But I still think Arena War Update had too many missed opportunities, which I really do. The Raptor, which was a frickin' spider-style trike, three-wheeled motorcycle, which by spider-style I mean the two wheels are in the front, the rear wheel's the bike part. But the Raptor should have had an Arena War variant. I could imagine it with machine guns and a different shell that's been armored. Which, yeah, I think would have been fun as an Arena War vehicle. And for the casino, nothing too OP. There's only one weaponized vehicle so far from it, and it's the armored Paragon you get from completing the missions as host. And it only has machine guns. Well, it does have bullet-resistant windows, but you can still shoot someone out of it after enough shots. Or just blow it up after a while. Yeah, I could have talked about the Mark II weapons and such, but those already run the game. Not to mention, this is the thing about vehicular warfare, especially when they increased in the Doomsday heist. You're still limited to having to have completed the research for explosive rounds or the Mark II sniper. The alien guns were stupid and didn't really bring much to the table. I've only mentioned either the newest updates or ones with weaponized vehicles. I'm both glad and mad that they finally disabled passive mode when in weaponized vehicles. I'm glad because it meant the end of passive mode abuse for people who enter passive after a kill, which was a big problem in combat, especially vehicular, because come on. You kill somebody, go into passive to get away, which was kind of unfair and stupid. Now, if it were last gen where passive mode did not mean you were basically ghosted, as in, woo, I'm a ghost, it would have been a different story. Because if you're in passive mode last gen, you could not go through other vehicles and you could still be killed from inside your car. They just couldn't blow it up. Because one shot to the head, boom, dead. Mad because this means I can no longer go into passive when I just want to do jumps in my scramjet or my Arena War vehicles without being attacked. Because if you go out in a weaponized vehicle in GTA, people automatically think you want to fight. Scramjet and additions you get to Arena War vehicles have a jump function. Heck, the Scramjet was based after the Mach 5 from Speed Racer. In Arena War vehicles, you could add a jump and a nitrous feature too. But hey, the good outweighs the bad with that one. In truth, I'm only mad about the missed opportunities with the game, which I am. Okay, I will admit, I hate Oppressor Mark II abuse. I hated passive mode abuse before they finally fixed it. But more importantly is I'm mad about missed opportunities with Arena War. When Gun and Running came out, they should have added the recommissioned JB700 based after a death for their James Bond car, which was in the story, to the game as an online. Or a Mark II version where you can't use the ejector seat and the spike strips got replaced with mines, which would have been useful. Or even with Arena Wars, they could have easily made a variant of that car, which they made a frickin' bunch of cars based after movie references. The Sasquatch is based after the Bigfoot monster truck from Mad Max. The Impersonator is based on the Old Pursuit Special from the earlier Mad Max films. And heck, they have a stupid minivan based on the van from Tango and Cash. And yes, they do have references to Death Race, as the mode Wreck-It was based on it. Anyway, there are a lot of forgotten vehicles that Arena War could have brought new life to. Heck, they should have made a variant of the Dune FAV, which was like the worst thing to come out of gun running. Seriously. Because it was just a frickin' Dune, which was a... Don't know if I want to call it a go-kart, even though it's more of a dune buggy. Which you were still exposed like the original. And it was pretty much useless. Because even though you could use the mines, you had to have a passenger to use the front weapons. That replaced the mines with Arena War ones. But yeah, they should have done that. A Dune FAV meant for Arena War only. That would have made all those people about the Criminal Enterprise starter pack have a chance to get a vehicle they could use for Arena War. Because the Dune FAV, which the only off-road vehicle in that pack, cannot even be used for racing. It would have made the thing somewhat useful as you had a version that you didn't need a co-pilot to operate the machine gun. Or even a variant of the Injection, which is another frickin' Dune buggy-like vehicle, well, more based off a off-road version of a Volkswagen Beetle. My biggest pet peeve about Arena War was that you had plenty of other vehicles that could have had new life breathed into them. Instead, they wanted to give you yet another set of variants of the Dominator, which was based after the pre-2014 Mustangs, and even more upgrade options to Slam Van, which already had variants before then. So yeah, I'm disappointed in Rockstar for reasons other than the damn vehicular combat meta. Face camming? But that's basically my point of this long-ass rant. Rockstar. You had plenty of missed opportunities. Instead of trying to come up with a new vehicular warfare meta, you could have frickin' brought back the JB700. Yeah, you can buy the decommissioned version GTA Online already, but we would have wanted a weaponized version. One where you could actually use the machine guns in the front. And I can imagine Arena War variants of that in Future Shock, Apocalypse, and even Nightmare. But no, Rockstar. You decided to add other movie references instead. I understood Mad Max as pretty much post-apocalyptic with some of the gear and stuff. And Death Race says it was also based on Death Race. But Rockstar, you had plenty of opportunities you missed out on. But yeah, basically my complaints and grievances about the weaponized vehicles. Mainly missed opportunities. I know I had other stuff I could have covered. Heck, that one Robbie, forget his last name, but he played in Sailor Moon and Persona 5. Well, guess what? He just got Me Too'd. I just watched Tug's video on it, you know, that umbrella guy. Which I cannot really get myself involved until the Vic situation's over with. And I still got that stuff my friend Ruki sent me. But I wanted to get this out of the way. And I needed a quick topic for tonight, though I'm already over 20 minutes. And, well, 25, and even if I cut stuff out, the intro and outro from SHAREfactory is still going to take up part of it. But still, this is Mario Kaiba, screwing the rules because I have green hair. Peace.